Just directed your pizza to Daddy Green's Pizza. Nah, I'm just bugging out. Peace, y'all. Welcome to the Real HD Show. This is the Higher Discussion. I'm your host, Vic. You are tapped into a, you know, a 2 hour ride where we provide knowledge, wisdom, and understanding for that freedom, justice, and liberation as we do it every Wednesday night on the Real HD Show, which stands for the Higher Discussion. So if you want to have a higher discussion, please, please, please tap in, and then we'll begin to make it better. You have the opportunity to tap in and get involved with the show in ways that you know. You go to your address bar, you put the call letters that I'm going to provide in a second into the address bar, and then we can begin doing our thing. Um, okay, so there we are. So I'll provide those on the bottom. You can execute them on the top, right above you. You know what I'm saying? In your address bar. And you can rock out with us, or you can leave a comment. So it's StreamYard.com, 4YZTA 5TYC4. You put that in your address bar above, and we can rock out on the Real HD Show and have a higher discussion. Make sure you please like, share, subscribe, and share the show with everybody that you know. Turn on all your notifications so that we can have a higher discussion. You might have heard a lot of stuff, a lot of places, but you didn't have a higher discussion. That means a second look into the things that matter, the good, the bad, the ugly of our people, and we celebrate it, and we solve it, and we heal it with freedom music right here on the show. Freedom music happens from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Anybody that sees the call letters and dares to come backstage with me early will rock out to the latest hip hop, house based jazz, rock, soca, R&B, uh, all the good sounds that you might want to hear to put a battery in your back and make you better. Because we only got one life to live, one aim, one destiny, one people. Let's get it going. We are the Real HD Show. So tell a friend to stem it again with adrenaline, the Real HD Show. Let's have a higher discussion. Tap in. Okay. So with all of that said, let's thank our sponsors real quick. Total Package Energy, Bats Footwear, and Redeem Vacations bring 5 people to the Real HD Show, courtesy of yourself, and win a gift certificate to a hotel, a restaurant, or a vacation 3-day, 4-night of your choosing on the show to and for the show. Um, that's the way we do it on the Real HD Show. Also, Bats Footwear is revolutionary sole technology built to with a comfort feel and a cross between Vans and Hirachis. Do your thing, support them on Amazon and any of your shopping uh, destinations online. Bats Footwear. Also, Total Package Energy. Some of us have a second half to our day. They will give you, all natural melanated company will give you a battery in your back so that you can take charge of that second half of your day and have all the energy and be prepared. Okay, so moving on. Um, Give me 1 second. Let me see if something is in the right order, the way it's supposed to be. Hmm. Did I mention that? Okay. So I have to send something to myself. So I'm gonna do that right now, and then as soon as I get that, we will do our ancestors and elders blueprint on the show. Because we got to do that first, because we standing on the shoulders of greatness. We also have to be patient and thankful that we have folks that have shown the way, led the way, and if we just imitate just a little bit of what they done, a little bit of what they did, we could be progressive and great just like they were and solve a lot of our problems. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this particular factoid up, and the faster I do that, the better. and send it to myself. And then I'm gonna get a grip, no slip. Okay. And I'm gonna send one more thing to myself. Um, all right. So send it and it's sent, and it is on its way. So thanks family for being with me for a quick second. And then when I pull it up, we will do our ancestors and elders blueprint on the show. How's everybody doing out there? My name is Vic. Hope you guys are all right. Everybody who's used to the show, don't be a stranger. Call up, press your luck, do your thing, so we can sing about that freedom ring. So come on through. The water's fine. We're getting deep enough to swim in over here. I put many things in the Real HD alert page on both Instagram and uh, in what do you call that? On Instagram and in. Okay, let me just. No, damn it. All right, give me 1 second. Mm, hmm. How do I get that back? Drives. Yeah, I gotta check all this, family, because this is not cool. Let me send it again. I have to send it one more again. Not gonna take no time. I'm just gonna resend it. Um, hmm, yeah, I'm gonna just resend this piece, and then we'll do our thing. Okay. Yeah, man, you should come on the show, bro. You sending me mad stuff right now while we on the air, man. Come through on the show, bro. You know what it is. Come through. Let's get it in. Yeah, I just have to send it to myself, family. Bear with me. All right, there it is. All right, cool. So now let's go to the inbox. Thank y'all for bearing with me for just a hot second. I know, so come through and don't just DM me about what I can do with my channel. Come through and be a part of the channel as we move. You know what I'm saying? As we grow, as we develop. That's what we need y'all to do. So let me get this inbox cracking. Okay. All right. So all right. Boom. Got that one. Let's go to the next one. Boom. Got that one. And we are rocking and rolling. Okay. So we're there. Okay. How's the family doing? How's everybody making it out? I hope everybody's happy, healthy, wealthy, and wiser, ready to get this done. Mm, mm, just had earlier. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So we should be ready to go in just a sec. I'm going to add these through too, and then we can get our regular groove on, as it were. Let's see. Yep. Screener. Like stink meaner. Y'all got a stink meaner in your life? Anybody like stink meaner on the Boondocks? That's just here to cause you a lot of calamity and pain and a bunch of nothingness in your life, and you wish they would just go away and let you be because they can't see what you can see. So this is what we're here for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Without further delay, we're here for this for the night. Crown Juice Trannies. And I'm already getting flack online about the title, but it's not what you think. It's not what you think. It's a play on words. And it's a play on getting people involved with the show. And if you don't get involved with the show, that's fine too. You know, if you want to be sour about it, if you want to be, super, super, opposite about the title and what it's really all about, and not willing to look into uh, and won't and not if you're going to judge a book before you buy the cover and don't open it up and crack it up and read it, then I don't know what to say. That's fine with you. But a lot of this stuff on social media.
Plume of smoke across the Atlantic to the UK.
Mm-hmm. That's not
potentially. This is why we're picking up this phosgene in clients. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So we're here. We're getting it done. Real HD show. 21 after. Let's get into. I'm gonna move the stream call letters and make them a ticker, and everybody can still see the letters and follow along. Please look at the ticker, follow the letters, kind of join if you can and when you can. Get involved with the Real HD show. Um, again, we're here for Crown Juice Trannies, walking and talking Bluetooths or nah. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main feature of the night. And before we get to that,
in the UK.
Before that, before we get to that, let's get to our main event. Not main event, but first event, which is our Elders and Ancestors Blueprint. Standing on the shoulders of greatness is the Elders and Ancestors Blueprint. We don't have to reinvent the wheel because there are very many, many solutions to our current problems that our ancestors have provided by
was high, and then
by giving it down to a solution to what's going on in a real way, so we can, get involved and build every day. So our first set and our first example in our ancestors and elders blueprint is this brother right here, right? Brilliant brother, pioneer in the space, Nelson Grant. Nelson Grant became a landowner, eventually holding 300 acres during the antebellum slavery era. He worked as a farmer and also a salt lick and in a coal mine. And the Gants sent their children to Oberlin College. He earned enough money to send his children to Oberlin College in Ohio, and they were actively aided fugitive slaves in the Underground Railroad. Gant was later sold 20 acres of his land to Towson Brick Company, which developed it into a public park. This became the Gant Park, the site of the Municipal Stadium in Zanesville today. So shout out to Nelson Gant, pioneer, entrepreneur, and antebellum slavery perseverer. And we love to get those sorts of stories on the show because it shows us what's possible when we put our mind, our ingenuity, our specialty into what we do for our freedom, justice, and liberation. And that was our elders and ancestors' blueprint on the Real HD Show. So let's jump into our AAT report. Here we go. We are in the AAT health report. Healthy, wealthier, and wiser. Anything, air, land, or sea that will make us better and healthier, we will cover. So we got a couple of vids to show today along those lines, and we got some things to talk about. We got some things to talk about. Um, hmm, mm, All right, the first one is going to be, the price of eggs are rising. You go to the supermarket, you're paying damn near $10 for a healthy carton of eggs. Eggs has become a staple of the American diet. Healthy or unhealthy, controversial or not so controversial, people measure the inflation or standard of food prices by how high eggs and milk are rising or not rising. So we're going to listen to this particular sister give us her diatribe on the state of eggs, what they're doing or not doing, and how healthy or unhealthy it is for us. Let's check it out. AAT report. Here we go.
Refrigerator and you haven't heard because the government is shut down, you might want to go throw them away. They are actually killing people. Like, people are dying from eggs in 2025 due to a massive salmonella outbreak. And because the FDA hasn't been releasing any newsletters, there is now information on these illnesses and deaths, and they are prompting people to throw away their eggs and to stop purchasing immediately. Yeah, you heard that right. 6 million eggs are on recall as they have been found to include salmonella and infecting people and sending them to the hospital at an alarming rate, to the point the FDA is saying don't FAFO, throw them in the fucking trash now. And as you guessed, the FDA has issued the highest level recall available, meaning it don't get much fucking worse than this. And it's upgrading it to a nationwide egg recall and the most serious risk level, meaning if you want to eat this shit, you might die from that shit. Now, I know what you're thinking. Aja, you told us about eggs before. Yes, honestly, this is the same fucking recall, but they have updated it, as prior to this recall, the severity wasn't as high and it didn't include as many states as it does. And now they're saying, we fucked up. There is a severe illness linked with these eggs, which could only mean that there's something going on with the chickens, if you ask me. I think the chickens are sick. I don't think it's salmonella. I think those chickens are infected with something and they're not telling us what. So if the eggs are infected, let's stay away from chicken for now. That's my opinion.
All right. So you heard the good sister. She's talking about eggs are having there's an issue with eggs. There's a recall of 6 million eggs across the countrywide. That's the American standard, the American diet on hyperdrive. People get up in the morning, get their egg on as their staple for what they do, how they eat. Even if they're like, a bodybuilder or in a fitness capacity, they down in raw eggs or what have you to stabilize their diet, their blood sugar, et cetera. Get a clean source of protein really fast. Don't do it. Don't eat it. I don't know if it's salmonella. I don't know if it's something worse. But if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, looks like an egg, usually that means that there's something going on that they're trying not to alert people to and divert people from. So be vigilant. Don't eat eggs. Egg substitutes. There's other forms of breakfasts. Have a smoothie. You know, there's some other forms of protein, walnuts, uh, granola. It's a lot of different things you can do with your diet that don't require eggs. So just as a word to the wise, don't mess with them. And of course, because of the government shutdown, uh, we are in a food information deficit because we can't get those FDA warnings as fast and as express as we would like to get them. And they somehow or another may, you know, injure us if we're not careful about what we're eating, what we're putting on our plate, and how it affects us. If anybody wants to talk about this, the call letters are below. You can, matter of fact, I'll make that big for now. Um, I'll put it back up. I'll remove the ticker. I'll put that back up as a larger piece, and we can continue on. Um, so we did our uh, Elders and Ancestors Blueprint. We are done with our AAT report. And we're going to do a little bit more of the AAT report when we start to talk about, what's going on with the government and the shutdown and how it's affecting people's eating and people's way of, helping themselves at the supermarket with, and as it pertains to millions and millions of people who are, compromised because of the food stamp shortage, etc. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But for right now, let's get into a Lit City report, the wacky, the wild, the wonderful things that keep our world going around. Because we need levity. Why? Because we deal with a lot of crazy subjects on the show, and they can get often dogmatic, long-winded, melancholy, and we need to be lifted. We need a little bit of, you know, laughter, love, excitement, joy. So we try to institute them. We try to fill that in as much as we can on the show. Here we go. We are batting 1,000% on the show tonight with our intros and our words and the way that we are displaying and coming across tonight. Usually are not as helter skelter and as static as it is, but we persevere, we move on, we get better. We are the Real HD Show. Tap in with us. There's a call letters below. You put it above in your address bar, and you can rock out with us on the show. We're in a Lit City report, the wild, the wacky, the wonderful, things that make our world go round, because we need levity, and we're going to discover a couple of things that are really, really dope about our world that we live in and how it affects everything that we're doing right now. Before we get into our heavier and crazier stuff this evening. Let's see. Okay, we got a good deed. I'm going to call this the good deed. But as the old school saying, no good deed goes unpunished, we'll see what that's like right here on Lit City Report. Here we go.
A man is facing a $400,000 lawsuit after trying to catch a baby who fell from a fifth-floor balcony. The tragedy unfolded because the man, though he tried.
Wow. I'll run that again. That was a really short video. I thought it was longer, but I'll run it again.
A man is facing a $400,000 lawsuit after trying to catch a baby who fell from a fifth-floor balcony. The tragedy unfolded because the man, though he tried.
Wow. So we got someone who did a great deed. They either tried or didn't try or didn't succeed in catching that baby off that balcony. And now they're in the middle of a super duper lawsuit. And we did the uh, Lit City report on the young man who saved the 4 kids in the water not too long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, a week ago or so. And he died in the process of saving the 4 young kids. They all lived, and he got swept away in the current. Um, and now another young black brother decides to help a baby that was tossed from a balcony. I believe he caught the baby, or maybe the baby suffered some injuries from the drop and the catch. which of course the G-force, is gonna, might even have crushed the baby's ribs before the baby hit the ground or before the baby was caught by the young man. And like I said before, the old school saying is no good deed goes unpunished. Um, Let me make sure I'm quoting that correctly. No good deed goes. Yeah, yeah. No good deed goes unpunished. Indeed, biblical, but lyrical. No good deed goes unpunished. Yeah, man. Um, so you got to take the good with the bad. You have to kind of just know in your heart you did the right thing. Know in your body and in your spirit that you put your energy and your essence and your intention in the right position, and that young man did, to catch that baby. And maybe that baby suffered some you know maladies because of the fall. And I don't mean falling on the ground, because he clearly caught the baby in an awkward way, but the baby might have suffered some bodily injuries because of the way that it happened. I'm sure the parents, in hindsight, wouldn't have want to lost the baby. And then salute to you, bro. Salute to you, man. You put yourself out there to help someone else and to make sure that their child was safe. I've been a teacher for over 2 decades now, so man, there's probably nothing I wouldn't do to make sure that my students were safe. So I understand, and we salute you. Um, we hope you get out of this unscathed, at least legally and financially. And you know, your good deed was recognized here, bro. Peace to you. All right, man. So we are in the middle of a Lit City report, and we have a second part of our Lit City report. As we move into it, we will get into um, this is something interesting, because we're dealing in a time now where AI likes to really be everybody's using AI for everything. AI is revolutionary. AI is going to change the world. AI is going to make everyone rich, or it's going to multiply itself a million times, take over the world, shoot nuclear missiles all over the world and humanity. It's like, you know, half a dozen in one hand, six in the other. You know what I'm saying? But I came across this because, of course, it's the fall season. Hollow's Eve is right around the corner. That Hollow, they're going to try to, everyone's getting ready to get dressed up and go to parties and be in the thick of it. And I found something that will put us in the thick of it. Check this out right here, a twist on an old Hollywood favorite, Halloween favorite, right here on the Real HD Show. We're not going to play it all, and information used for educational purposes only. Fair use, fair use. Check it out.
It's close to midnight, something evil lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed, 'cause this is Thriller.
Yo, Thriller in blues form. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure what ethnicity that blues player was based on his vocals, but imagine Sinners, and the young man from Sinners was singing Thriller. You know what I'm saying? And that's how AI adopted that adaptation. So have fun with that, or Halloween goers. I'm not one of them. I don't dress up and go trick or treat. I've done it a couple times. It's been okay. It's been cool. It's not really my cup of tea. It's kind of overrated in my opinion. We'll get into the history of why that is in a little. Maybe I may do that next week. I don't know. I may show a little expose on why Halloween is so prevalent all over the world. Um, but for right now, we just want to give you guys a little treat, and then also talk about the ramifications, because there's of AI taking music, reimagining it in its own way, and spitting it out as new creations, and that's very dangerous because they're doing. There's a lot of suits and litigation going on right now as we speak over this very thing. Uh, does AI have the permission, even though it has the technology and the wherewithal to do it, the power and the imagination and the algorithm to do it? Can they and should they um, make this available, proliferate it, sell it, and reimagine other artists' work in that way? Now, if you're an artist who passed away, some people may say that's keeping the artist's work alive, right? Some people may say, well, you're keeping the artist's work alive in a popular way. And then the people who are currently artists might say, well, that's BS, that's bunk, because I want to get paid for my work, and you shouldn't take a Drake song or Erica Badu song or Kendrick song or whoever's song, reimagine it in your own way, and then put it out there. There's two sides to the coin. You can flip it, and depending on what your purview is, you'll have your answer to whether or not that's cool or not, and whether or not you are down with it. So let us know in the comments. We're blasting off the 4 Facebook channels: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Trouble Nation D Live, wherever you want to be. We are the Real HD Show. Let us know what you think. And last but not least, we want to show you guys a little vid. We want to take a moment during our Lit City report because we stand with our brothers and sisters in Jamaica and in the Caribbean islands going through these horrible weatherings with the hurricane that's going on there. And we want to give you guys Mildred, I believe, Hurricane Melissa hits Jamaica and does a doozy on the island. And I want to share my screen and get into a little bit of that. From NBC News, fair use, fair use. Let's get into it right now. Let's show you what it is, what it isn't, and hopefully we can get some, clarity based on that. Here we go.
Melissa roaring ashore there this afternoon, packing life-threatening winds and rain. And look at these flooded street roads completely inundated as raging waters rush in. The warning from officials tonight: displaced crocodiles could be lurking in the water. That is not a joke. Moments ago, the Prime Minister of Jamaica telling Top Story tonight his biggest concern is damage done to multiple hospitals. You can see that roof ripped apart on this one. The full scope of the devastation and potential loss of life on the island, not yet in full view. The Prime Minister also telling us it's still too dangerous for search and rescue teams to go out. We'll have that full conversation with the Prime Minister straight ahead. 25,000 tourists, though, still trapped on the island, some barricading themselves in hotel ballrooms like this. Melissa's next targets, Cuba, then the Bahamas, both bracing for direct hits.
All right, so there you go. There you go. So our good brothers and sisters that are on the island of Jamaica are going through it right now. The craziest part, one of the crazy parts is, I was in Mobay, I was in Ocho Rio, I was in the Grill, and those waters, those raging waters have, not only do they damage everything in their capacity and in their reach, but they also bring seafaring creatures into proximity with you. So could you imagine? Could you imagine you getting flooded and you just trying to stay above water level, and an alligator makes his way onto a car? You're standing on top of a car, and here comes an alligator out of the water trying to survive like you, and here the alligator comes at you out of the water that comes comes across shore because it's so of those raging tidal waves. Out of control, man. We wish them all the love and support. Please find your local shelter and your local charity or your local anything, and please send these folks money.
We have full team coverage tonight. Our reporter live in the storm
support,
zone and our meteorologist out.
Love, support, and all the rest of it so that they can recover, man, and they can make a, we need JA in the diaspora like we need air. You know what I'm saying? We need them to make a full recovery. They do so much for the diaspora. They have such a rich tapestry of culture, living, food, rhythm. Just they are black magic. You know what I'm saying? We are as they are. So we want them to recover nicely from the hurricane, or as much as possible. We want the entire Caribbean to make a recovery, Cuba and all the other islands affected and all the people affected. Hopefully nobody dies. I know that's an impossible wish, but we wish them well nonetheless. All right, man, and that was our Lit City report for the week. Yeah, that was our Lit City report for the week. And we hope you guys got a lot out of that. We did all our segments. Remember, you guys can join the show. You guys can get involved. There's the call letters below. You guys can jump on stage with us, make a comment, and get involved with the show. I'm going to make a ticker of this, and hopefully you guys catch it and get involved with the show. We are nothing without you, but the show must go on. Either way. Okay, we're here for this tonight. Crown Jewels, trannies, walking, talking, Bluetooths, or not, right? And that's a hard title to kind of get into because you think I'm talking about LGBTQ, right? Especially trans people. I'm not talking about trans people. That's just clickbait. That's just to get you in here so we can talk and we can have a higher discussion. But it will involve some transhumanism as it is and as it were, because we're dealing with this really intricate subject. And I want to introduce it to you this way so that you guys can kind of see where we are, see what we're doing, and get involved. I'm going to share my screen so that you guys can see what I see and get involved with this expose on the entire thing. And then we'll watch a follow-up video. The first video is about maybe 8 minutes long. And then the follow-up video actually walks the dog or executes what I'm talking about people being walking, talking, Bluetooths. And we dealt with this on the show before. We showed the Internet of Bodies. Now, in case anybody didn't see it and you don't know what the Internet of Bodies actually is, it's all of the things that give off a signature that we carry on ourselves, like our Fitbit or Apple Watches, or our phones, or in some case, pacemakers. In some cases, you got Fitbits and you got all types of things that generate a electronic, digital, wired signature, radar related signature, heat electronic type of signature that can be transcribed and databased and recognized. And it can make you a walking, talking signal. But we're talking about this in a really peculiar way because we're going to talk about the crown juice. You know, that crown juice. I don't want to, we remember the time when the crown was running around making everybody sick a couple years ago. That crown, right? Right? What does Rona mean? Crown, right? Okay. So if you're following, you're following. If you ain't, you ain't. If you don't know, put it in the chat. I'll chat you back. We're trying to keep the show. We're trying not to be demonetized and shadow banned. So, rock with us. So we're talking about that crown juice, right? So everybody had the crown, and then you got the crown juice to get rid of the crown, right? That was in that was lurking inside of, people's biomes. You know what I'm saying? So in an outcome of everybody running to get this untested crown juice, there were a lot of bodily harm. There was a lot of bodily injuries. There was a lot of, even Pfizer had a 19-page summary of all the bodily harm done by the crown juice. So you either got the Johnson & Johnson crown juice, or you got the AstraZeneca crown juice, or you got the Pfizer crown juice. And they even told you needed booster crown juice episodes. You know what I'm saying? And then those things were chaotic on people and had a lot of hospital bodily maladies that happened as a result of it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get into some real interesting stuff, because there's a lot of, what do I call? There were some concepts and theories that we talked about on the show. And there's some people who have watched the show maybe 2.5 years ago, may have looked at it and said, he's talking out his cap. He's talking out of both sides of his ear, juice leaking out the side of his ear. He don't know what he's talking about. Go get yourself juiced up so that you stay healthy and you don't, the prevailing thought was, do that and stay healthy. I warded everybody in my house against it. I said, do not play with your health and vitality that way. Eat well, sleep well, drink lots of water, get your vitamin C on, and you'll beat the crown. You'll beat the crown. You don't need the crown juice, right? And this interviewer and this virologist is kind of, they're at the tipping point of explaining a lot that will verify and support some of the things that the Real HD show told you about this, particular episode during the crown-demic, right? And it'll definitely reinforce and bring validity to what I'm talking about. So I'm going to share my screen. We are going to get into this. And then I'll show a secondary video that proves exactly what the first video has been talking about. Because sometimes you would think that I got my tinfoil kufi hat on. You're about to hear some, some rumor, innuendo, and hyperbole, and some real, kind of rant on what is real and what's not real in terms of the crown and the crown juice. But we got facts and figures for you, ladies and gentlemen. And we're about to get to it right here, right now, on the Real HD Show. Here we go.
And sending off samples to third-party labs. So for me to do the testing wasn't really something that I could do, although I did do preliminary testing with an app on my phone, which I'll run through with you.
So in order to do this study, I needed to find an expert in the field. But the reason we were obviously looking to do this study is because all the research that had been done during the COVID period showing that there were these sort of artificial structures resembling electronic circuits building in the in certain jabs. I think this is the Pfizer vaccine, and this was shown by Dr. Camper from La Quinta Columna. Dr. Robert Young was the first practitioner to look at all of the jabs under the microscope and confirm they had graphene oxide in them. And then he was able to take that further, looking into the blood of certain test subjects who'd taken the jab and seeing that, the graphene oxide was present, and just how harmful it is to our circulatory system, how it coagulates the blood, and it's, highly toxic in so many different ways that I won't go into right now. But also Dr. David Nixon, he was looking at the vaccines under the microscope with the contents of these shots. And he's very famous for seeing this particular picture of the Pfizer Comirnaty shot, 4 months old, at 200 times magnification, where we can see nanofilament coming together with the circuit that had formed, right? So is this what happens inside our body? Is this why we're giving off these Bluetooth signals? There's been too many scientists and doctors out there giving us this information and showing us what can potentially be forming inside of our bodies.
Well, wait a second, Caroline. They were telling everyone that the COVID-19 bioweapon injection, because that's exactly what it was, if you want to look up the definition, it wasn't the V word, a vaccine, by definition, science. Wait a minute, they said they were trying to safeguard people from getting sick. But now we're seeing, and a lot of people already know, but if you were watching the show for the first time, this is what was being injected into your bodies, especially with certain brands, assembling themselves into microchips and biosensors. Well, what does that have to do with warding off some sort of disease or virus, quote unquote? Just raising the question. Please proceed.
Yeah. Well, we know that the virus has never been isolated. It's just a in silico number, basically, in a computer system.
Exactly. Never been isolated under a microscope. That's right. That means it doesn't really exist, as they say to us.
But what does seem to exist are these MAC addresses. So I progressed on with my study, and I started to take potential test subjects out into a technology-free environment in the field. And this is replicating what had been done in the Bluetooth documentary by Dr. Chavez out of Mexico, and in the French study called The Experiment, which was performed, I believe, in Switzerland. So I wanted to find out whether this was happening in England. So I was taking people out into the field, and I used an app on my phone that I had discovered was very efficient at testing for these MAC address signals. And I discovered this app from a website called the bluetoothpolice.com. And what I discovered was that you can see here, this is one of the apps I was using, which I'll run over what that app is. But this little dot you can see is a radar, okay, page. And you can see that that dot is actually coming off a human person. And as they walk towards me,
the green dot on the upper left.
Sorry, the green dot here. And as they walk towards me, that dot would move towards me, and as they walk away, the dot would walk away. Now, these people, there was a specific protocol where they didn't have any technology on them, no Fitbit watches, no earbuds, nothing like that. They could have their phone, but it would be Bluetooth switched off and Find Me mode switched off. So everything was just clear of any Bluetooth signals. And around about 30 people I tested, 22 were emitting a MAC address.
All right. So just in case you guys aren't really following what's going on, this is a virologist, right? So she's there to test the efficacy of products that go out and, from companies like Pfizer or AstraZeneca or Johnson & Johnson. And she said she did a study based on this particular piece of technology that she has that reads MAC signals, right? So she says she took out into a field with no buildings or interference, and the people didn't have any audio or video equipment on them. No phones, no watches, none of that. They were just stripped down, not stripped down, but they were, stripped of all of the technology. So it says out of 30 people, 22 were omitting MAC address signals. Almost all had received.
Almost all had received a COVID shot.
Almost all had received a COVID shot. 2 women who had not had never taken PRC tests were emitting MAC addresses or MAC frequencies. Both had husbands who had taken the shot or PCR tests. This raised important questions about transfection. So thus the title of the show, which is Trannies. Now you thought I was trying to make fun of the LGBTQ. No, not so fast. I was talking about transfection with the crown juice, which is the that a lot of people got during the time of, a couple years ago when everybody was facing the pandemic. Peace, Sister Aurora. I know you've been waiting patiently to get involved with the show. How you doing? What's going on? Oh, you got to unmute yourself, sis.
Hi. Sorry, I'm running late.
No, that's all right. That's all right. We've been rocking either way.
And coming in on that story, oh my God, we were talking about that today because they just named long COVID as a disability, and in my field now, where people are checking that box, do you have or have you ever had? And they're adding long COVID to disability. Now, long COVID is covering all kinds of symptoms or leftover. Like people are having trouble focusing, or where you have someone who's really smart, sometimes stumbles over the words. Started as the term. But it was just coming in through the Department of Health and Human Services. And so in our job, they just let us know that the list for COVID has now been upgraded, and long COVID is one of those disabilities.
Wow.
Because it makes people, it enhances disabilities that you've already had, or, if you've had something, another event in terms of your health. And so it has exasperated on so many people. It's giving them foggy brain and all of this other kind of stuff. And I was like,
exactly. Wow. And especially the myocarditis, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's giving some people palsy in the face and all type of stuff,
Oh yeah. And can't explain it, except for it started happening after they had COVID. And
after they got the juice.
Yes, they got the juice, got the disease. And and so what she was saying about, and it was real interesting because you strip down people and they start walking and they're giving off magnetic rays, and you have a radiation thing that has gone off when someone has been scanned, a Geiger the Geiger counter. And so and they're showing you this in bits and pieces, so nobody actually is putting it all together. And now, when the HHS has determined that long COVID is now a disability, one, I want to see how many people are going to file for disability with long COVID being the only, the only disease that they're choking on. Because even the doctors say, well, I'm not sure, but I do know this exacerbated after you had COVID and things like that. So what she's saying, and with the vaccine,
who have to get these shots for work or for to belong in their church or whatever mandate, they can't even sue.
Yeah,
they can't even sue for any of the biological maladies that have happened as a result of this. But what's interesting is the transfection rate is really powerful. So you had a spouse who had COVID. Now they're looking at spouses who never tested positive for COVID or having COVID-like symptoms or emitting COVID-like type of symptoms out of their body. Here's something that I want to get to that proves what the doctor was just talking about how the bodies omit almost a MAC-like signature from their bodies while they're, because they were given COVID or had to get the booster shot or whatever it was. And that's interesting. They took 30 people in the field, and 22 of the 30 people with no technology on them, technology removed for them for a good mile or half a mile, as they were approaching the virologist and her staff, they had like a Bluetooth radar. And she said all of them were omitting signatures like they were a piece of technology. Crazy. So I have and these things go on overseas, and they get very, very, when they come over here as information, they get scrutinized and they get banned, and
Right,
nobody
they try to villainize them.
right, they villainize the information, and they never want the information to get out properly. So here's a clip with an older gentleman who is one of the bigger IT people overseas, and he started recognizing some interesting signatures while he was doing some of his studies on equipment, internet equipment, social media, his IT work. He started, recognizing some interesting patterns, and he took out a part of your phone where you can recognize Mac, Bluetooth, and all sorts of signatures. And he started recognizing that these patterns were actually coming from people. So here we go. Check this out. I'll read along as he's talking.
Устройства в телекомуникационното пространство. Дали са слушалките?
Okay, so I'll start it over real
Кои
quick.
са най-многобройните Bluetooth устройства в телекомуникационното пространство? Дали са слушалките? Не.
So he said, where do you think most of the signals in the telecommunication space are coming from? That's why I made this as a particular point of the topic on the show. Because it says 8% of telecommunication signals come from phones. Another 15% comes from, wearables, digital wearables. Another 2% come from other things like maybe, your watches, maybe a pacemaker or something like that. And then he said the other 75% of the transmissions, Bluetooth transmissions, are coming from something else, maybe people. So let's continue with it. Let's continue with it.
Дали са телефоните? Пак не познахте. Какво може да бъдат? Най-многобройните Bluetooth устройства в телекомуникационното пространство са напълно неизвестни за большинството от хора.
So he says basically most of these signals in the telecommunication space are basically coming from people. People are registering signatures within their body, good or bad. It might be due to the crown juice or not due to the crown juice. And he's seeing signatures that read like telecommunication devices coming from people. This is out of control, man. I'm gonna let him finish. I'm not even gonna translate anymore because he's got the thing on the bottom, so I'll let that run.
Не могат да се намерят в стандартното меню. Когато се постави техния MAC адрес в интернет база данни за производители, няма никаква информация и не се знае какво е името, какъв е типа, каква е услугата и какъв е производителя. И те са повече от всички други взети заедно. Нека да видим. И така, намираме се в Южния парк след обяда и да видим какви ще бъдат резултатите на нашия Bluetooth тест. Старт. Да видим резултатите. Хайде, 25 резултата. Да спрем сканирането. Ето ги устройствата. И най-хубаво е да видим нещата под формата на графика. Ето тук има графика. Това са последните данни. Така, избрахме ги. И ето какви са резултатите. Ето ги.
So as you can see, you see the pie graph right there. And then you see where in the yellow, all of that is video and audio digital signals. And then you get the digital signals from everything else. And he's saying he's in a park and he's picking up on, like, how if you would try to open up your phone and you try to get a signal from somewhere and you see all of the places in your neighborhood, whether you're outside near businesses that are conducting a Wi-Fi signal or a Bluetooth signal, this is what he's looking at here. And he's seeing in the pink that a lot of the digital or Wi-Fi or Bluetooth related signals are coming from people. This is nuts, man.
84% неизвестни. А това са производителите. Добре, какви са ти устройства? Това, скъпи приятели, са Bluetooth чи. Повете. Ето е на тези.
All right, so I think you can get the point. He's going in all these different venues, all these public venues, a bus, a mall, a train station, and he's looking on his app that can detect Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and digital signals. And he gets the point of the app or the digital readout that shows him that the audio video signals coming from devices. But a large part of the results is that he's reading electronic signatures and digital signatures coming from people. Wow. So, they say they got the graphene oxide in the rumor is that there's graphene oxide in the crown juice, and a lot of people have it. And now they're just as good as walking, talking Bluetooth signatures. What do you think of this first? And then, do you think this resonates? I know it's overseas, and overseas is always like the testing ground for how America is going to take things in the long run. You know what I mean? So, what do you think, Sister Aurora? Any credence to this, or is this all a nothing burger? What do you think?
No, I mean, well, certain tests, because he shows it happens, because you ever, look at your phone and you go to change it onto a Bluetooth, and then you pick up like 100 different Bluetooths around you. Like, like when I go in and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get a signal, and I change my Bluetooth. Say, like, if you go to one of the stores like Walmart, you can use the Walmart free signal, internet signal, but
Right.
You'll notice that your phone picks up like 100 other, and you're like looking around because you don't really see that many phones out, but yet you see on your phone a list of Bluetooth signals that you're picking up. And I'm like, all I'm seeing around me is people. Okay, so
Right.
Right.
So this is really peculiar, and the app is actually free. They say the app is actually on your phone, so they say you can. It's not the same if you have an iPhone. The iPhone is a different type of app where you can register the Bluetooth signatures. I'm going to do the test. I'm going to try to record it and bring it back to the show, so I can show you guys my own exercise in this, and show you guys if it's true or untrue, or what the results are. But it's interesting. It's really, really interesting. And we already know that we have the Internet of Bodies going on right now, because we're walking and talking signatures based on what we have on our person. You may have a pacemaker, or somebody might have a machine on them to help them breathe. We might have a phone. We might have a beeper. We might have an Apple Watch or an Android Watch or a Fitbit. And we're giving off signals every which way. You know what I mean? We're giving off signals every which way. So especially if the rumors are true, and the graphene oxide is in the crown juice, and we're walking and talking Bluetooth, as the gentleman and the two women have described, then we really need to be vigilant, and we really need to be careful about what we're turning ourselves into and what we're becoming. Like Dr. Angela Love was talking about. One second. Sorry about that. Did you hear that, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, you heard that little bit of music?
Uh-huh.
Okay. No worry about that. Apologies. So no, that was my Apple music came on, and that's my son's beat, and it was running in the background. I don't know why I did that.
Nice
But anyway.
beat.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm gonna do my own down home experiment. I'm gonna go to a Walmart. I'm gonna open up my phone. I'm gonna get this app. It's in the back channels of your phone, where it registers like your phone usage, and your phone's, like, I guess, outreach to other digital products that are in proximity to your own phone. And I'm gonna screenshot with another device my results and bring it and show it to you guys. I don't know if I'll do it by next week, but maybe the week after we'll revisit this, and we'll see if this is actually true. I found the actual app on in the back, the back apps of my phone, so I'm really, really curious if this is going to be ring true or not. And and then I'm going to look into some more data into the transfection rates that some of this stuff has had over the last couple of years. So if you have a spouse, and that spouse has had the crown, and the crown has invaded your house in one capacity or another, does it transfect into other people who have not had the juice, or not had the crown, and are they affected in a very similar way? And you'll probably get a high number outcome coming from that. And this is just stuff that they won't tell you. They won't, I'm talking about the government and the, responsible agencies, CDC, and all the rest of it. They won't tell you this stuff until it's way too late, until they got a political, I guess, damage control spin on it, so it doesn't look too crazy or too out of place from what's happening boots on the ground. But I wanted to talk about that, and I'm hoping that it's not turning us and transing us into a whole nother entity. You know what I mean? Because never before has human beings had so much metal. Alrighty. So never before have human beings had so much metal registering in their system, and so much nanoplastic registering in their system. Never before. This is the highest in human activity that human beings have ever had so much metal, so much aluminum, plastic in your system, now than ever before. And that's a fact. You can look that up right now. That's an absolute fact. So, are we walking and talking Bluetooths? That remains to be seen. We'll do an experiment. We'll draw our own conclusions. But it is information for everybody to move with some awareness and keep your eyes open for anything coming down the line. Last thoughts on this, Sister Aurora. What do you think?
We don't know from what we've been getting, from the stages of getting vaccinations for chickenpox and measles and mumps. We just take the word of it and put our arm out when it's time to get the shot,
Right.
And so it's just like back in the day, when static cling, and they used to have it at one of the children's museums where you can walk in and it will be able to tell you how much static or electricity that's coming off your body. So when you would stand in this thing and your hair goes up, things start coming up, and it's a known fact that we are magnetic people. I mean, we can shock each other, when you need to really get out there. And women who wear bracelets, my dad had taught me this. I didn't need nobody to jump my car. Just rub on those bracelets and then put that bracelet on that battery. Maybe a little shocking, but that car turned over.
That actually worked?
Yes, that actually works.
Wow.
And and all you have to do is get enough. And so others, like I would see men, they would be rubbing their foot real fast out of their sneakers because the sneakers are conduit, so it wouldn't work. But when they take off their shoes and they want to rub like that really fast, and then you touch somebody and you can hear crack, 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 because you're shocking them. So those are things that our bodies have been doing, and they get enhanced because we don't know what we're taking. We're just believing in what we're told,
Right.
and it's always some consequence if we don't do as we're told. So we do as we're told. And we saw that with COVID. Everybody was trying to do what they told, and then you had a whole group of other people that like, we ain't doing that.
Yeah,
Nurses
I was one of them. We ain't doing that people. I was like, I was like,
I said, I can't do that because
I got to give my wife a lot of credit. She's a wellness a professional for damn near 30 years, and she was like, you know what? Why aren't they telling us to get good rest and get a good night's sleep, and eat right, and take your vitamin C, and really some interesting things that will really support the body and help the body.
Exactly.
Drink bleach and go get some liquor, and the advice for what was going on back then was retarded. It just didn't make any sense from a wellness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't want to say that we're a bunch of conspiracists on the show, and we want to bring you all this foo-foo without actually giving you some solutions. So we need to cleanse, right? And there's a product out there. I don't know if it's good or bad, but some people, go by it. Some people swear by it. It's called Masterpiece. And this Masterpiece is $57.99. You can find it on Amazon or other different places. It supports cellular cleansing. It restores electrolyte balance. It aids nutrient delivery, balance mood, and promotes relaxation. So you're not, it takes down the anxiousness. So you're not going to down that entire bottle of wine to feel relaxed. You only need a glass, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's supposed to be good at taking cleansing the metals out of the body. So here are some charts as to what it specializes in. So it's supposed to take out arsenic at 500%, good at taking out arsenic. Barium is supposed to be good at removing barium. Aluminum by 200%. Cadmium is supposed to be good at removing gadolinium, lead, mercury, nickel, palladium. Thorium, tungsten, and uranium. So if any of that is in your system, this particular cleansing over time is supposed to be good at removing that. I know Solar Botanicals is really good at that as well, and that's an all natural solution. This is another one that the other folks are swearing by. Solar Botanicals is made by a melanated company, and that company is instructed and schooled in the Dr. Sebi tree. So that's their particular, and I think I advertised it on the show once or twice. Solar Botanicals, it's honey. Were you on the show, Sister Aurora, and we talked about the honey that can cleanse your eyes? You put the honey in your eyes, and it cleanses your eyes and your
No, I don't remember that.
Your eye palette. Yeah. So there's a honey through Solar Botanicals that if you put the honey into your eye, right, you inject it in your eye, just how you clean your eye out with water. It's the same thing. And the honey and the nutrients in the honey from phytoplankton is supposed to, which is like sea urchin, right? It's supposed to it's supposed to be like an eye wash, and it's supposed to help strengthen the retina, strengthen the optic nerves, and bring back overall eye health. So don't say you ain't never come on the show and get some solutions. We just talk about that bad stuff. So here we go. And depending on who you are and which purview is and what your take on all of this is, you will act accordingly and move accordingly. So you got two. You got Masterpiece as a cell cleanser, and then you have Solar Botanicals as a cleanser as well. What do you do to cleanse these days? Do you fast? What's your regimen for dealing with these crazy bodily effects that we deal with as people right now?
Drinking a lot of water.
True, true.
Drinking a lot of water during certain times of the year, like currently right now, we're on 1 meal a day.
Right. Intermittent fasting, dope.
Mm-hmm.
Dope.
And so that works. So, me and my son are on that. It's more difficult for me as being a diabetic. So, we have a couple of, the glycerol pills because I am a diabetic that needs to have sugar. My body
So
is
are you a type 1 or you a type 2, if you don't mind sharing?
I'm type 2. I have
Type 2.
two. I have two devices on me.
Oh wow.
Liver's insulin because my body doesn't make insulin, and when it tells me, well, you hear this beeper that I kept saying, why can't y'all make this go off? They said then it would defeat the purpose of being an alert. But
Right.
this scanner translates to it's on this side of my body. It can tell me what my sugar rates are at. It can tell me when I'm nose diving. You'll literally hear,
Right.
and then the alert will start alarming that I have to eat because I
Right.
yes, I go back down to something like 56 sometimes, and that's very dangerously low.
Right.
You can pass out I can pass out at 56 or 45. I've done so many times, too many times. So we're always carrying a bag of candy or something.
Right.
And so it was really hard during the time of Ramadan because I have to eat. I have to have these little snacks around just to maintain a level where I'm not crashing or I'm not going too high.
Well, please maintain your levels. We need you around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maintain your levels for sure.
Yeah.
I know that Queen of Four, Heal Herself, I know she has a dynamite program for, type 2 diabetics that can almost cure you of the affliction. I don't know how far you're not in New York anymore, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, I know she sells her products online too.
When I had Miracles of Dawn, we started taking Queen of Food's products. We were eating spirulina. Everybody drinking the green drink.
Okay. Yeah. Nah, that stuff is the truth.
Oh, definitely.
That stuff is the truth. Yeah.
And I mean, and it was great because everybody was drinking green juice, and so it allowed me to have that product in my shop. And, a lot of people were healthy, who ate healthy or were happy to come through and just so they can get that. And then they would see the rest of the shop. So I do want to thank Queen of Food for, that was way back in 1989.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When my shop is just opening and, her and some other Brooklyn, businesses that I used to make sure that I supported. They in turn came out to Long Island and supported me, and so I'll never forget her.
Oh, fire. Yeah, me neither, man. Her, Brother Pot Wars, Supernova, the whole community down there in Brooklyn. Salute to Smart Tyree. Yo, y'all know y'all love here, man. Come on the show if y'all want, Y'all always got an open door to come on the show and we can chop up. The Quantum Leap, come on the show. You're always welcome, bro. We need to freestyle anyway. You told me we was gonna come on the show and me and you was gonna get at it. So I'm waiting for you to come on the show so we can freestyle together. I'm looking forward to that. Let's do that sooner rather than later. All right, y'all. So it's 9:30. We've been on for a while. We've done Nicholas Gant and his contribution to in our Elders and Ancestors Blueprint. We did watch out for the eggs recall in our AAT report. We also did the 22 or 25 states that are suing Trump over the food stamp crisis.
Yeah, the food stamp crisis. Yeah,
that's going on because the government shut down. We did that. We also did a plethora of things on the show, and then we just got finished covering the main event, which was these whether or not we are walking, talking Bluetooths, but certainly omitting some sort of heat signature that could be detected as a Mac or some sort of digital product, which is absolutely weird and should not be happening. So make sure that you like, share, subscribe to the show. All right, Tina, I'm live. Tina want to talk to us while we live. I'm not really sure what that's about. So we're gonna try to eliminate that, and we want to sign off. Please like, share, subscribe. She said we simply the best, so I'm going to believe her. Like, share, subscribe, comment, turn on all your notifications so that every time we have a Real HD show, you can tap in and have a high discussion. I'm going to say peace and walk with power. We'll see you next Wednesday. All right, y'all. We love y'all. Love on each other. Peace.